What is up, guys? Hope everybody is having a good day today. So I posted a poll in our community tab the other day asking what you guys wanted to see as far as content goes, and some of you answered back with you were interested in daily vlogs and seeing kind of how we do things, kind of how we got started and things like that. Not that we're a big deal, but that's what you guys asked for. Here's my attempt at doing that. I'm starting the day out by going and shipping out some merch that was ordered on our website. I'll link that in the description. I'll also go ahead and link it somewhere up here so you can click on that if you're interested in merch. If not, that's cool too. We're planning on hitting the lake tomorrow, so I'm also going to be dragging the boat into town to get this thing fueled up. That way we are good to go for in the morning. It's going to be a good boys day. Going to be hanging out, having a little bit of fun, maybe catch a fish or two. I don't really know, but I'm going to take this thing, get some fuel, and then we got some work to do in the shop today as well. So, you know, lots of stuff going on. A little bit of a different style of video. I have no idea how to put this together, but this is what you guys wanted, so this is my attempt at that. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump the truck, head into town, grab some fuel, and then we'll get back to the shop. So some of y'all had actually answered in the comments that you were interested in learning a little bit more about who I am, kind of why I got into cars, why we started the YouTube channel. And again, I want to reiterate, we're not a big deal at all. So the fact that you guys show any interest in this sort of thing absolutely blows my mind. Long story short, I got into cars because of my papa. So he had a 72 Nova whenever I was little, and I thought that was just the baddest car on the face of the planet. Had a small block 350, turbo 350 behind it, and man, that thing, it was just the baddest car that I had ever seen in my life. I may have been a little bit biased just because it was his, but I just absolutely fell in love with the thing. It became my dream car. He sold it when I was about 8 years old. Man, I was just absolutely devastated. I was heartbroken because I wanted that to be my car one day when I grew up. And back then, you know, that was, 20 years ago. Back then, they were quite plentiful. You could find them. It wasn't really that difficult. It's not like now, you can't hardly find them, and when you do, they're rusted out and stuff like that. But they were plentiful back then. But he sold it, and several years later, he actually bought me one, which you guys see sometimes in the background of the video. He bought me that when I was 16, so I've had the car for probably 14 years. We'll be putting some focus on that after we finish our square body build and trying to get that thing wrapped up. The car that he actually originally had is still local, and I know the guy that has it, and rumor has it that it's been up for sale. So maybe one day I can manage to buy the car back. Some of you know, some of you don't, but my papa passed away 3 years ago. Well, almost 4 years ago now. Back in 2021, he passed away from COVID, and let me tell you, that was one of the hardest, darkest points in my life. Like, that was something that I just really struggled with. My papa was my best friend. I mean, he was my mentor. He was the one that taught me everything I know about being a man, about fearing God, and he just taught me everything that there was to know about being me. I owe everything that I have and everything that I know to him, for the most part. Me and him, we built hot rods together when I was growing up, and we had a 72 Chevy Love pickup that he had built, and it actually had the motor that I have in my Chevelle now was the original motor that was in the Love. I drag raced that in high school, but it was all because of him that I got into this stuff, and he's taught me a lot. A lot of the paint and body stuff I figured out just from trial and error, and some things that he showed me, but I've learned a lot through all of that. He was a big inspiration and a big reason that I got into any of this. So, without him, I probably would have no interest in it, to be honest, but he introduced me to it, and I became absolutely addicted. And so that's not something I plan on giving up ever. That's pretty much how I got started in the whole car thing, but that may not mean a lot to anybody else, but that was a big deal to me. As far as the YouTube channel goes, we had some guys that we had watched for years and that we watched every day, and we really enjoyed watching their stuff, and we were like, we're doing the same thing that they're doing. We're building these cars, we're going to the races, we're doing all this stuff. Why not make videos and put them out on YouTube and just see what happens? And so we did. That's kind of why we started, and we actually started the channel a month, maybe 2 months before he passed away, and he loved watching the videos, man. And back then, the videos weren't what they are now. I will say that our earlier videos were nowhere near what our current videos are. And not to say that our new videos are great, but we are leaps and bounds ahead of where we were. But he enjoyed watching those. And that's kind of why we started. It was just so we would have those memories to look back on. When we get older and, we're not doing this stuff anymore, or when my daughter now, when she gets older, she kind of wonders what her dad was like when he was, when he was younger. She can look back on those videos and see kind of the things that I was into, and, that I was an absolute goofball. And, not that I plan on changing anytime soon, but, I wish I had those videos to look back on of my papa and things like that. I have some home videos, but we have a lot more YouTube videos out than we have home videos. So, I think it'll be something cool for my daughter to be able to look back on one day. It'll be something good for them to look back on and be able to kind of relate to their dad and figure out, hey, this is what dad was like when he was little. So, that's kind of another thing I've thought about, and just kind of doing it for the kids. Alrighty, we made it back to the house. I gotta say, I cleaned the truck the other day for the first time in I don't know how long, and I forgot how much I love this thing and how good it looks when it's clean. And also the boat, man. There's something about the paint on these bass boats just absolutely insane. I love that so much. So tomorrow will be the first time I've ever taken this thing out since we bought it. I think I've had it for a little over a year, but we got a killer deal on that thing and the convertible 66 Mustang that y'all see in the videos. We paid 10 grand for the pair. Couldn't beat that. Couldn't pass it up. So, not that I needed another boat, but, hey, it'll be a fun boat to take out on the lake with the boys. So I'm really, really excited about taking that thing out tomorrow and just having a good time, because it's time to get away and just enjoy a few days, relax, chill, and soak in some sun. But today there is no time to play because I have work to do. They dropped this thing off the other day. Apparently they hit something pretty hard, but they dropped off a new hood, fender, bumper cover, fender extension, all of that. So I've got those parts in the paint booth. That's going to be painted today and ready to go back together so that they can pick everything up tomorrow, and then they can have their car back. It's a tri-coat pearl, and I've never tried to match a pearl exact, so this is going to be a whole learning experience for me. I've sprayed plenty of pearls, but never trying to match a factory color, so I'm hoping that it's not going to be too bad. I started prepping the parts last night. I didn't film any of it, but I've never filmed any of my customer cars for you guys, so this is going to be a first. I do a little bit of work on the side for other people. Usually the only thing that I do is my own stuff, but every now and then, car parts get expensive, so I'll take in a little bit of side work here and there, do some paint jobs, do some side work for other people and stuff like that. I've never filmed it. I guess today y'all get to see that. For the record, I guess Coop's House is legally a business. We're registered with the state and all of that stuff, but we're not a body shop. I don't run this as a body shop. Just every now and then I'll take in a paint job here and there to kind of help keep things moving with the projects here. And so if any of you guys have ever wondered how I'm able to keep some of that stuff going, that's how. It's because I work on the side. I work full time. I do all of that stuff. And yeah, so that's kind of how I keep the ball rolling around here. Because let me tell you, this son of a gun has been a money pit, and it costs way more to do this than I thought it was going to. It's the little things. Like, honestly, any one thing's not that expensive, but when you start having, several little things that cost $30 or $40, it starts to add up. So it gets to be a lot, but it is what it is. So I got to do a little bit of side work here. So we're going to get in the paint booth, and I got a little more prep work to do. Just got to scuff up those parts, get them ready to spray. But I'll show you guys kind of what I'm working with. So there's the new hood. I started scuffing it last night, and you can see the little scratches right there. So started on that last night, just didn't finish it because it was late when I got out here, so I just put in like 45 minutes or so. That's the hood. Pretty dang straight, actually. I'm surprised there's not any dings in it. Most of the time, if you buy a brand new panel, you've got at least some body work to do. There's the new fender, and I've got the bumper cover actually sitting outside because it was plastic, and it shipped in that, but it was a little warped, so I just set it outside in the sun, so hopefully it would get its shape back. So I guess that's what I'm going to do now is go ahead and get this stuff scuffed, and that way I can get it ready to hang up and get it sprayed today. But I've got to get the cars out of here and a few other things. I actually store these two cars in here because I have nowhere else, and I'd rather them not sit outside and rust and get any worse than they are. So I keep them in here. Whenever I have to paint, I just drag them out, and then I'll paint, and then I'll put them right back. So they stay inside all the time. So that's why I don't have any room in the shop. It's just because I keep all the projects inside, which is fine. Because as they get built, I've got the other property that we bought. We're going to go ahead and close in one of those barns, and that'll be strictly for storage of these cars. And so hopefully once they get finished, they can get put in there and they'll have a home to live. The Chevelle lives in the trailer because, I didn't want it to sit outside either. We got a lot of time and a lot of work in that one, so it stays in the trailer. Alrighty, so we have everything prepped and ready to go. So now I just have to get the cars out of here. So don't mind the streaks right there. It's a little dust that was on it, whatever. So that'll all get cleaned off. They'll get hung up. I hang everything from the rafters most of the time. You see my little wires there. It's about time to actually cut all these off and start over. But I'll get all this stuff hung up. We're going to mix up some base coat, get it sprayed. Obviously, once we get those out of here, hopefully all this matches up. I really, really hope so. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and spray all these parts down with some spray away glass cleaner. I saw a dude on YouTube, I think it was, said that that was what he used for prepping parts. So we had a couple of parts here that we sprayed a little while back, and we went ahead and sprayed them down with that, and that's what I've been using ever since. I've had no issues whatsoever, but it gets everything good and clean and leaves nothing behind. So it does a really good job as far as being a prep wipe just prior to spray and paint. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe it down, and then we're going to hit these fenders, or not the fenders, but the bumper cover and the plastic piece with an adhesion promoter. So it'll spray a couple light coats on that. It'll sit, and then that way it bites into that plastic, and that gives the paint something else to grab onto. So that's what I'm going to do now. Go ahead and wipe everything down, get it good and clean, shoot this adhesion promoter, then we're going to shoot some sealer. Well, the sealer laid out amazing on all these parts. Looks absolutely phenomenal. Laid out slick. It's been sitting now for about an hour or so. So now I'm about to go in there, go ahead and pour up the base coat. I actually had it mixed, ready to spray. So the only thing I have to do with it is just pour it straight in the gun, come in here, get the gun set, go ahead and start spraying a couple coats. It's white also. The reason I use the white sealer is because it'll take less base coat to cover, for one, but also if for some reason the paint itself gets chipped, hopefully it doesn't go all the way through the sealer and it's still white and less noticeable than if I use, say, a black sealer or a gray sealer. Then it wouldn't shine like a sore thumb through that white. So that's the reason I do that, and I've been doing that for a long time. It seems to work out pretty well. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead, go in there, pour up some white base. We're fixing to go ahead and shoot this stuff, and then we're going to get ready to start shooting the pearl, which I'm really hoping matches the other car very well. So hopefully this won't be that big of a deal. Hopefully it won't be very difficult, and we can get it done and get this stuff wrapped up. All right, the base and the pearl laid out absolutely amazing. I went ahead and carried this out to the car, make sure that it matched up just like it was supposed to, and then I went ahead and sprayed out the rest of the parts. So I'm gonna carry this thing out there and show you guys what it looks like so far, and then I'm gonna go ahead and mix up the clear coat, get it sprayed, and then we'll be wrapping this up for today. Not too shabby, I have to say. That was pretty easy. That was probably the easiest paint that I've ever sprayed. It was Chromax. I've never sprayed that before. I believe it's by Exalta. But it's super, super nice stuff. Really expensive, but very nice stuff. So I'll go ahead and carry this out there and show you guys what we got. Yeah, so there is the original color. Obviously, it's clear coated. My part's not, but check that out. So we're looking at them side by side. It's a perfect match. So now I'm just going to go ahead and get it back in the paint booth. We're going to mix up our clear, put on a couple good wet coats, probably about 3, and then this will be wrapped up. They'll be ready to come and get the car. She did mention she's got a little repair job she wants me to do on that thing, but I've got to see about the material and all of that, so that's going to take some time. And that'll actually be blending on a panel and having to buff it in, so that part makes me nervous. I've only ever done that one other time. It worked out, but it wasn't a pearl either. So anyway, time to mix up some clear, get it sprayed, and see how these look. All right, clear is laid down and looking good on everything, pretty much, except for the hood. And the reason is, as I was spraying it, came around to the end here, and a bug got in it, and stupid me tried to wipe him out. So that didn't work out, so I just buried it all in clear. And what I'm gonna end up doing is Thursday, I'm gonna sand it back down with 600. I will repair this area right here and blend everything, and then I'll buff it all in. You'll never know what happened. And the reason I say Thursday is because I have to go up and get some more of the white base for the repair that she wants done. I didn't know about it at the time that I got everything for this job. She called me after I'd already went and got all the material. She's like, hey, do you think you can do this too? And I told her, I was like, I'll see how much material I have. Well, they can mix up just enough material for me to do that one job. So I was able to work out a deal with that. We're gonna get it done. So whenever I get the car in here to actually fix that, I'll do the hood as well. So that sucks. I thought it might be a one and done, but of course, you know, once you get to the very end, something like that happens. I knew better. I should have never touched him. It would have been better had I just not touched the bug and just let it be in there. But you know, it is what it is. The fender turned out perfect. The fender extension turned out perfect, and the bumper cover is absolutely perfect. So everything looks great except that one spot on the hood. No big deal. I'll fix it. I've got some work to do on the car anyway. So that sucks, but it is what it is, I reckon. But anyway, guys, I think that's where I'm gonna call it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what y'all thought about this type of video. This is definitely outside of my comfort zone and something that I'm just having to kind of figure out. So if y'all enjoyed this, I'm gonna try to start putting out maybe 1 to 2 of these a week in addition to our regular shop videos, which come out on Fridays. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and check out that one right there. YouTube thinks that's gonna be the best thing for you to watch next. And hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.